I hope this works. It's not working. Oh, Evanio Martinez. Hi, Evanio Martinez. I hopefully you can even hear this. Here. All right, is it working? Let's go. Hey, stranger. Hey, let's go. Nanny Ortiz. Hello, Nanny. Oh my goodness. All the old original crew is here. Oh my goodness. And excuse my appearance, guys. I had a long day, a lot longer than I anticipated. And wow, I was falling asleep in the car on the way here. Anyways, I can keep it together here. Um, Danny Landry 18. Hey, how are you, Danny Landry 18? I think that's the first time I'm seeing your name. But welcome. That's really cool that you're here. Inez, wow, you're the first person that says my name right the first time. Wow, awesome. Brandy dude. Hey Brandy, oh my goodness, my inspiration. Hey Brandy. Um is everybody hearing me okay? Is the audio and the visual and everything okay? There's like a lot of good information I wanted to share with everyone today. Get some great questions in too. So on my end right now, it's not working. So Jade, is it Jade Un, right? Un or Jade Yun? I'm new to pet grooming. Hey, how are you, Jade? If you're new to pet grooming, I really hope this works out today. I've got a lot to show you. Danny Landry 18, thank you. I watch your channel. Wow, thank you, Danny. Danny Ortiz, happy holidays, dude. Happy holidays, Danny. Yes, I can hear you fine. Perfect. All right, Jade. I'm gonna on my end because I think I'm just gonna close as many windows as I can. Okay, close this. Just bear with me, guys. I'm trying to just close out as many windows on my laptop here, and so hopefully that will help with a little bit of the lagging. You can see this, and man, I really didn't consider the fact that it's going to be backwards. So everything is written backwards, but on like reading it to you guys, I was gonna draw it, but hey, the drawings actually will still work whether it's flipped or not, so it'll still be good. Um, but why my 4 steps is so important. So today even one of my best friends named Andre. Sorry guys, just adjusting. Okay, so I was at my friend Andre's house, and they got a Pekingese that they had like a long time ago as a puppy, and then family members took him. Anyways, he not at a lack of love. It wasn't a lack of love. It wasn't neglect. It was just they didn't know any better. They're washing him often. So many dogs are getting skin issues and this bad odor. black spots everywhere. Just because we don't exactly what we're doing. Just like with me and my facial hair. Growing out my facial hair, I got like an ingrown hair right here, like a bump that hurts, and I shaved it all off. And then I researched how to grow facial hair, and it turns out I need to put oils on them. So I bought this oil called Cremo, and I put it on I spread a thin layer on my facial hair morning and night, twice a day. And now it's a completely different experience. I'm not itching myself. It doesn't bother me. And I actually forget that I even have facial hair until I see myself in the mirror again. I'm like, oh wow, you know, I the same thing is going. They're itching in their skin because they're not, and the oils that their skin is producing with shampoo. We're stripping those natural oils off. We're not replacing the oils, and now the skin is having to work harder to try to replace these oils. So it more oils at a more rapid pace, and then this starts to cause the problems. Just by understanding and by following 4 steps I came up with, and I can't even say that I came up with. It's just by researching how dogs operate, not just how their skin functions, but how they operate on a social, behavioral level. So, but yeah, I mean, when I started to understand more how the skin functions, how everything is supposed to work, then I was able to kind of, okay, well then it makes sense to do things in this order. So let me go over step 1 with everybody. Okay, oh, let me get some comments here. Nanny Ortiz, happy holidays to you, Nanny. Thank you so much. Jade, a little slow, but yes, I can hear you fine. Okay. Jade. So this is from Jade. I think it's Un. It's UNE. How do you gain confidence when using scissors as a beginner? Question. So the scissors that I'm using is not really working well, but I'll just. What you want to do is practice the thumb control and make sure you can keep the guide blade still, the cutting blade, your thumb. And I suggest doing it in different angles. And it's just practice over and over again. And there's a book called The Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Hold on 1 second, just. And in that book, Malcolm Gladwell, like basically the fact that anybody can master any skill, but it takes at least 10,000 hours of practice. And 10,000 hours is a lot of hours to practice. So um, as long as you just keep doing it over and over again, um, you'll get better at it. So let's see. So yeah, I just say practice, practice, practice. But that's the idea. You want to just get it to where just your thumb moves. Um, Naren Bayar Ambagalat. Okay. Oh, sorry. So it's Naran Bayar Amgalan Batar. Hi, Jun. How are you? Thank you so much for joining. And Nanny Ortiz, post more videos, grooming videos. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna go over my 4 steps, but yes, I'm gonna post more grooming videos, Nanny. Thank you. The Bedamore. Hello from Denmark. Oh my goodness. Hi from Denmark. Okay. So let me get started here. So hopefully everyone gets this. Let me see here. Okay. Hopefully everybody got this. The 4 steps. So build rapport, prep the skin, clear pores. So build rapport is all about the relationship. one thing we got to remember is dogs are social animals, and then they're conscious. They have an awareness. You know, they have feelings. They have thoughts about things. Imagine two dogs are laying together, licking each other's ears, each other. You know, helping pull some of that dead hair out, things like that. That's not a part of that group. A strange dog just walks up and starts licking and the ears and starts grooming these dogs. There there'd be a fight. And those two dogs would probably actually put that dog down because I was very disrespectful in the animal world. You don't do that. Thing that's done by two animals that have a relationship. So, like for example, anybody over here? Okay. So let's just say I'm playing with my girls at the playground. We don't know, a stranger just walks up and their hair, right? And then let's say my daughter says, oh, kind of reacts to that. And the guy says, bad girl. You know, I would probably not. I would lay him out, knock the guy out because that's just that you don't do that. So we think that it's okay to take a dog that we don't have a relationship with. So for me, rapport is crucial. That's the foundation to the whole groom. So if I have a dog that's nervous, shaking, maybe showing their teeth, whatever, take a few minutes to try to get that connection with that dog, get them to trust me, and that way I can start to groom them. And taking that few minutes in the beginning, make the entire groom go better. So build rapport. It's about the relationship. And then step two, prep the skin. And prep the skin meaning clearing the pores. Brushing that I do. All the dead hair that you see in those pictures that I put up and the videos that I put up, all of that stuff, that all of the dead hair that I'm getting out, the skin. Because by getting that out of the skin, I'm helping the skin breathe. Giving the pores room. Because you've probably seen it, but there, inside the pores is still, and I'm actually going to get into that. I'll draw the pore and everything, but if we don't take the time to actually clear out what's inside those pores, the shampoo and the conditioner don't really have room to do a deep cleaning. It's kind of like removing our underclothes. Shower. So I go to take a shower. I take off my outer clothes, but I keep my undershirt on. I keep my underwear on, and I just take a shower. Dry myself in it, or maybe towel dry myself in it, and then I put on a very nice suit. That's kind of what we're doing if we're not gonna brush out that dead undercoat. But a better word for dead undercoat, in my opinion, is old underwear. So it's like, right? We got to remove it, so we take the old underwear off, the old dirty gym socks, that out in, and that way, not only will you get a cleaner finish after the bath, you just get better results, but the skin. My main focus is always the skin health, because healthy skin produces a beautiful coat. So I'm always focusing on the skin rather than the hair. Okay, so step three, bathe and dry. And I wanted to make that clear because these days I'm realizing, especially working in the self-wash areas, a lot of these pet stores have like self-wash in the back where I've been doing some of my client dogs. And I've been noticing a lot of people wash their dogs, they don't dry their dogs. And that's a big issue because if we don't dry our dogs completely, I mean completely dry them to the skin, the damp water, especially if you didn't use conditioner, is going to start to get warm and moist right there at the skin level, and warm and moist invites bacteria, and they're going to start to smell lots of bad stuff. So you want to wash and dry, and you want to use shampoo and conditioner. So I've been going to a lot of pet shops, like Pet Supermarket, Petco, PetSmart, wherever. And I go to the grooming section to look for some shampoo and conditioner. They have shampoo, they don't have conditioner. Like, what's that about? If we're gonna skip one or the other, skip shampoo, not conditioner, because at least the conditioner is not stripping the oils. You have the oils that the dogs need. So it's leaving that intact. Also, the conditioners are putting moisturizer and oils back into the skin and on the coat to protect it. So if you're gonna skip either shampoo or conditioner, it's better to skip the better to skip the shampoo. But then when you go to these pet stores, why are there only shampoo on the shelves? Where's the conditioner? So that's a big thing, and I'll explain later as I draw a picture of the core and everything why that's such a big deal. Okay, so then step 4, finishing style, and that's where we're talking about scissor control, learning how to just use only your thumb and keep all the other fingers still. Just move that thumb. And that takes a little bit of practice. And you can do it in the car, you can do it while you're driving, and there's also something called wall exercises. So, for example, oh, that was hard to open. Okay, so for example, when my daughter's plays here, so here's the movement. See, it's just the thumb, right? And so you see how one blade stays still, the other one moves. So this is called your guide blade because it stays still. That's called your cutting blade because it cuts. So there's things called wall exercises where you can go through like this and then see if you can hold it on a straight line like this, and then see if you can do it this way, and see if you can do it this way. And so just work with it. And the more control you have over your scissors, just like any artist, a painter, the more control they have over their paintbrush or their paint strokes, the more beautiful the picture. A singer, the more control they have over their voice, the more beautiful the song. So anything is about control, how you control the tools that you're using, how you control yourself. So, and the haircut, the haircut and the styling, the very last, the step 4, the end, is actually my favorite part. That's what I work up to. So everything that happens before the haircut is actually like the tedious, laborious, hard work. That's where I'm sweating the most, you know. And I actually, to be honest, I don't like that part because who likes hard work, right? I actually personally don't like it, but I love dogs, and that's what makes it worth it. I like cats, but I don't love cats. That's why I don't groom cats. I'm not willing to put in that kind of work for a cat. But dogs, I have that connection. I feel that connection with dogs, so I'm willing to do it for a dog to help them feel better. Um, and and my daughters, things like that. So if you care enough, it's not that bad. But and also I compare it to like painting a wall. I tell everybody I'll paint anybody's wall if they'll just prep it for me, because sanding it, priming it, taping off everything, that's the hard part. By the time you're putting up the new paint, that's the easy part. You're whistling, you're having fun by then. And that's pretty much how I look at dog grooming. All the steps that I take before the haircut, that's like prepping the walls. And then when I'm doing the haircut and the styling, making the dog look cute and nice and pretty, that's kind of like putting up the new color on the walls. So let me see here. I'm going to go ahead and draw a dog's paw. Because me personally, I'm a visual learner, so I like to visual like see what we're talking about. So I'm gonna draw the dog's paw, and I just want to catch up on some comments here. Now that I just kind of outlined the 4 steps. Okay, so you know what? Let me sit back down for this while I catch up on some comments. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's see. Where did I leave off? Okay, so Nanny Ortiz, that's right. Nanny, I'm gonna make some more grooming videos. Just give me give me some time here. Um, Steel Texas Gal, I started doing a co-wash on my long-haired puppy. Co-wash is washing them with conditioner. Um, Conditioner, okay. I use Pantene co-wash. His coat feels great, luscious and hardly any scratchiness. If you're talking about Pantene, the human hair product though, I'd be careful with that. Only because our pH is more at a 7. A dog's pH is more at a 5. So um, because our pH is higher, what happens is our hair products can strip their acid mantle, their protective layer of oil. So even though we're using human conditioner and it's conditioner, it's the wrong pH for the dog. So and pH is everything. So I would be really careful about that. And here's the thing: everybody knows I like EnviroGroom. EnviroGroom makes a great product, but one of the girls I was working with named Rachel, she started using EnviroGroom on her own hair, and she was like, "Oh, it feels so good. It feels so soft." About 3 weeks later, she came in one day, she was like, "I had to stop using it." And I was like, "Why? What's going on?" And she was like, "My hair starts falling out." It started falling out, and I was like, "What?" And she was like, "Nothing crazy, like nothing to be like alarmed of, but noticeable." She's like, "Every time I take a shower, like more and more hair is coming out." So she was like, I just gotta stop using it." So even though it's a great product for dogs, the right pH. So I suggest using dog conditioner specifically for dogs rather than Pantene. If we're talking about the Pantene human hair product. Um, let's see. Jade. Oh, it's Anna. No, Anna. Okay, Jade. Una. Anna. Anna. Sorry about that, Jade. I'm so sorry. But Jade, thank you. I understand what you mean. This is only my 3rd week in training on the job, so wish me luck. Haha. Only job I actually can say I love my job. Can wait to be as good as you. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. And like that book says, it's called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. And I love that book because it's inspiring to me to know that anybody can master any skill. So anything that you see somebody else doing that's great at it, you can also be great at it as long as you put in 10,000 hours of practice. And he's saying it's not just practice like going through the motions. It's like focused, deliberate practice. And every time you're done with the practice session, you feel like you've gotten better. And he's saying if you do that for 10,000 hours, and that's about 5 to 6 years if you're putting in about, a regular, days of work. I'd say in about 4 or 5 years, you'll probably be just as good, if not better than me, if you're going in there every day, trying to be better than you were the day before. And that's what it is. um, Wayne Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer, one of my favorite people, passed away recently, but he says that true nobility is not trying to be better than anybody else. It's trying to be better than you used to be. And that's it. So, and that's the thing. Every single day, and this is not mystical stuff. This is practical. Every single day you go into your job, Jade, if you're really focusing on what the dog's skin looks like, what the texture of the coat feels like, what kind of hair pulls out easily, and why it comes out easily, you really start to like question the job and approach it almost like a scientist would. If you do that and you do it every single day and try to learn more and get better, there's no possible way you would not be great in about 5 years. You know, it's just not possible. You would be great. Not that you're not great now, Jade. I mean, I think you're awesome, but anything. And here's the thing. I've been working out for the past 2 weeks now, and I call it working out. Really, it's just getting on an elliptical for 30 minutes and then working on some machines. But anyways, I know that day to day, I don't really notice a big difference, but I'm going every day anyways, and I'm sweating. I'm pouring out sweat, and I know that if I do this every day for the next 2 years, I will see a difference, even though I don't see a difference day to day. So even though you may not feel like you're getting better, day to day, and you may feel like, oh my goodness, the ears don't turn out right, the feet don't turn out right. Oh, like what am I doing? Just keep at it, and you won't notice it day to day. But when you look back year or two, you're gonna be like, wow, look how far I've grown. So just every day, just try to be better. I use a vacuum with the brush. Oh, that's from Danny Landy. So Danny Landry 18. I use a vacuum with a brush. I have seen something that's kind of like a vacuum and it twirls. Anyways, Nanny Ortiz. I brush my Pomeranian 2 times a day. Oh, that's amazing, Nanny Ortiz. That's the ideal. But for those who don't have time to brush every day, if you do it once a week and spend about 30 to 40 minutes a week, that right there will still save you so much headache, with your dog chewing and licking and hot spots and things like that. Steel Texas Gal, you said a while back that if we were going to bathe them often, it's better to skip the shampoo and just use conditioner. Oh, weeks. That's what I've been doing. Awesome. And remember, I also say brush more, bathe less. So, and that's the thing, brush more, bathe less. So, like I really would suggest maybe brushing them. Okay, so everybody knows Harley, right? The aggressive Yorkie. There's like a series on my YouTube channel where I do this aggressive Yorkie named Harley. I'm seeing him once a month now at his home. This past month, it was just the vet called it systemic, meaning it was in the allergic reaction. It was like infection in his blood, and like he had to take antibiotics. I mean, bumps everywhere, sores. And they're saying that it always seems to be triggered after I wash him after he gets a bath. So I was like, you know what? We're washing him once a month. I was like, maybe let's stretch it twice a month. I mean, once every 2 months. So this last time that I was there, I didn't wash him. I just spent a good like 3, 4 hours just working all that stuff out of his coat, just carding him really good. And after I did that, give him a nice little trim, kind of tidied everything up. And then and also using oil, and like this is argan oil, but using oils to help protect the skin. um and I checked up on him a couple days after we did that, and I asked him like, how is he doing, because usually they say like about 2 days later he's like full of bumps. And I asked how is he doing, is he better? He's better, no bumps, no itching. So my point is, maybe like if we're washing them like once every 8 to 12 weeks and brushing them every day or every week, that would be really a lot better in my opinion. And I've been seeing proof of it, and that's why I say. But yeah, hopefully this helps, hopefully this comes across as helpful. Nanny Ortiz, I use a spray of the leave-in conditioning sprays. Danny Landry 18. Thanks. I was totally wondering about that. Okay, perfect. Danny Ortiz, I use conditioner first. Okay, perfect. And then use a spray as like a spray finish. Yeah, the perfect. Giselle in Blue. Hey, hey, Giselle in Blue. How are you? Steel Texas gal. Oh, fun. Oh, how funny. No idea you were gonna tell us about that. About the only condition. Great minds. Okay. Jade Una. I meant I love my job. I mean, and that's the key. Is like you have to love grooming because there's gonna be days where you really, really, it's gonna be really hard. And it's that love for the dogs, that love for knowing that you're helping them feel better. Is what's gonna pull you through those hard times. Um, Michael Lemonsis. Sup, this looks interesting. Awesome. Welcome, Michael. Nanny Ortiz. I like to use avocado shampoo and conditioner. I love avocado products. Avocado is awesome, especially avocado oil too. It's great to use. For my dog, she has sensitive skin. Perfect. Avocado. And if your dog does have sensitive skin, it has like some skin issues, maybe some bumps, maybe like brown, black bumps and things like that. A light layer of avocado oil or argan oil. See, I got this small little bottle at Sephora. It was in Sephora inside J.C. Penney's, and this was $16, but it's 100% argan oil, pure argan oil. But yeah, something like that, and that'll really help with the skin issues and everything. Um, Michael Lemonsis, you speak like my dad. He's a wise guy. Oh, that's really cool. Thank you, Michael. That's awesome that you think I'm wise. Probably because I failed at so many things. You gotta either end up dead or end up a little wiser, right? Diary of a dog enthusiast. You're on Instagram too, right? I think I've been seeing on Instagram. That's awesome. Thank you for joining me. Let's see, Nanny Ortiz. What oil can I use for my Pomeranian? Again, I love argan oil as an all-purpose oil. You could even and where I learned it from was Michelle Knowles at Yves Saint Bernard over in Cave Creek, Arizona. And you can order argan oil from their website as well. It's isbusa.com. But anywhere you can get 100% certified organic argan oil or avocado oil or emu oil, things like that, and a light layer of it. They even have ozonized olive oil. And ozonized olive oil is a natural antibacterial, antifungal to it because it's ozonized. It has like O3 injected into it. So it naturally kills bacteria and fungus, and it moisturizes and protects the skin and coat because it's an oil, ozonized olive oil. It's on the ISBUSA website. Um, let's see here. Showbob. Oh my goodness, Showbob. Good to see you again. Sup, June? Get any grooming tools for Christmas? Showbob. Um, Maybe I've already covered this before, but my tools got stolen out of the trunk of my car and at my driveway. And Robin stolen from Washington. A friend of mine, Barbara, and her partner Angela. They have a place called Swanky Paws up the street. They let me borrow some of their tools. I returned it since, but and then I had a secret fairy godmother. I can't say who it is. Send me tools. I mean, more tools, better tools than I had before. So yeah, I mean, and that's really interesting, isn't it? It's almost like sometimes bad things have to happen, and, quote unquote bad things, but things that kind of test us, challenging situations happen to us, I think, so that we can experience the kindness of others. Because by having that happen to me, I was able to ask for help and experience that kind of kindness and generosity from everybody. It was just amazing. So yeah, I mean, I guess maybe not for Christmas show, Bob, but I definitely got an early Christmas present, and I even got a Bravura. A Bravura is a cordless clipper from Wall, and it's really small, easy, light, powerful. I love it. Um, so hey, maybe I'll get robbed again next year. No, I was kidding. Let's see here. Yeah, I brush daily, honestly. Can't do less baths, aka conditioning treatments, since he sleeps with me. but I will try your suggestion of expensive conditioner. Haha. What was name online? Oh, okay. So for me, like any good conditioner, right now I'm using Bark to Basics. They have like a melon and cucumber conditioner that I'm using. I love it because it's very light. It doesn't have a very strong scent to it because it's cucumber and melon, and but yeah, like, so let's see here. If I was gonna, if I had my pick of conditioner that I could use, um, I would probably pick Charlie Dog. It's a really good product. Or Bobby Panther, I mean. Bobby Panther, um, they make a real, and Charlie Dog is a shampoo that Bobby Panther makes, but Bobby Panther also makes a really good conditioner. Let's see, who else makes a good conditioner? Uh, well, I mean, I really like Envirogroom's berry conditioner, oatmeal conditioner. But yeah, I mean, I'm really not brand loyal. And I know a lot of brands probably don't like me for that, but for me, I feel like I don't want my loyalty to a certain particular brand to kind of limit me from trying out other brands and just and always reading the labels. So I like to read the labels, and I like to at least know what the ingredients mean. And with Google, even the ones that are all scientific, you can just Google it, you know? So, just knowing what's in the ingredients, and as long as you're comfortable with it. And I think the main thing is as long as it's made for dogs. That's the key. um, Nanny Ortiz online. Yes, you can order it online. Yes. It's isbusa.com. Diary Dog Enthusiast. Yes, I creeped on your Instagram. I'm new to YouTube. That's awesome. No, I mean, I don't think it's creeping. I love it. Thank you so much for your support. Danny Landry, 18. Feeding your dog fish oils, cod liver oil, and safflower oil is good for the dog's coat and skin. Yes. Also, I heard like putting coconut oil, adding that into their food is good. But for me, coconut oil, my personal opinion, I don't like putting it on their skin because it's just, it just feels like a heavy, thick oil. And I feel like there's a lot more lighter, better oils that we could use. um, Omega 360. Hi, June. Love your videos. I'm looking on Shears to buy, but there's so many out there. Any ones you recommend? I know these are expensive, but I recommend Chona Shears, and that's Chona, Chona Shears. And the reason why I like Chona so much, and her name is Chona, Chona. The reason why I like her so much is because she has the same passion and dedication towards her shears as I do towards my grooming. And I really can sincerely say that because I've spoken to her several times, and I look her right in the eye and I see authenticity, I see genuineness. And she really cares about her product, she cares about her clients. And she's a she shows her dogs. So she grooms too. So she uses her shears. So it's not somebody that doesn't know how shears are supposed to work. She knows what you're looking for. She knows what you need. She like it gives great advice and tips and advice on scissors. And for her, it's not just about making the money. Of course, we all want to make money. Let's be honest, but it's not just about that for her. So, and the quality speaks for itself. I tried some. I don't own a pair yet. I'm saving up for it, but I would recommend if you're gonna buy some shears, Chona shears, and if you're not gonna spend over like 200 or $300 for a pair of shears, then might as well go for like the $50, $60 like Pet Edge, because under that they're pretty much all the same anyways. I spent $100 on a pair of shears. I spent $60 on a pair of shears. $80. So I spent all the range like in between like $60 to $100 or $150 for a pair of shears. Um, the quality just isn't the same as a pair of like Kenshi shears with like Japanese steel that you're gonna get for like $250 or $300. So I say like starting out, if when you're starting out, just go to petedge.com or Pedigree, because Paul Brothers makes some really good like inexpensive shears. And there's like other companies I've been seeing online that's coming up, but I mean, in the beginning, when you're on a budget and you're just looking for some shears to get started, as long as you keep them well maintained, meaning sharpened, oiled, and cleaned on a regular basis, then just buy any pair of like cheap shears like I did. And like I'm doing now, I'm still using those cheap shears, like, well, not cheap, but the ones, not the ones that are like 200, $300 Japanese steel. I'm saving up for that currently, even now, 5, 6 years into it, because I feel like, you don't have to rely on the tools so much. Um, One of my favorite scissors right now that I'm using is one sent to me by Robin, and they're these red scissors that just by looking at it, you would never think like, because they look kind of, like they kind of look heavy and clunky and things like that. But right now, oh my goodness, I've gotten used to them, and they're my favorite scissors right now. So you don't always have to have the best or most expensive scissors. You just have to have one that fits your hand well, that's comfortable to use, and just really work on the technique and maintain it well. Clean it, oil it. Oh, I'm glad you brought up scissors, because I found out that to clean your scissors and oil them, it's not the same clipper. It's not the same oil as you use for your clippers. The guy that was telling me about this, he actually, like sharpens, and this is what he does for a living: sharpens shears and balances them and everything. He was saying that the metal is different, and clipper oil is made for that high friction. And he's saying scissors, you don't need that, so it's a different viscosity. So this is from my mom's shop. My mom is an alterationist. She has an alteration shop in downtown Atlanta. But this is sewing machine oil. So he was telling me that what you want to do is you want to use sewing machine oil when you oil your scissors, not clipper oil. I didn't know that. I was using clipper oil to oil my scissors, but he was saying no, you use sewing machine oil. So if you can get your hands on some sewing machine oil, that's what you use for your scissors. Um, let's see here. Okay, perfect. So Amiga 360. Hopefully that was helpful. Now let's get on to the picture of the dog's paw. Yeah. So I draw this big so you can see it. This is a dog's paw. Okay. In it we have what's called an apocrine sweat gland, right? An apocrine gland that's producing oils into the pore. We have what's known as a sebaceous gland, and this sebaceous gland is what's responsible for making most of the oil that covers and protects the dog's skin. And this is producing oil into the pore. So we got oil from the apocrine sweat glands, the sebaceous glands into this pore, okay? And now we have the follicle, right, producing a primary hair, right? So that's a primary hair coming out of the pore. Beside it, we have 10 to 12 little fine secondary hairs, which we call the undercoat, the equivalent of goose down feathers, the soft little guard hairs. So And these are more responsible for insulation, temperature regulation, protection, giving that little barrier protection, things like that. Are the ones that have most of the color, it's more coarse, it's more thick, and they protect the outer layer of the dog. Sometimes there's 2 primary hairs, and sometimes there's up to 20 secondary hairs in there, right? Pretty full. We haven't even got into what all can be in there. Now you have other environmental. Let me use a different color here so it stands out. So then we have like dirt, dust, and debris coming in from the outside, right? So we have little dirt and dust and debris and just skin dander as well. Kind of collects all in there. We have Demodex mites. Tiny little microscopic mites that live inside of there, and they're supposed to live in there. There's little mites on your dog's skin and coat and pores at all times. And these mites are there to help protect and fight off other parasites and things like that from coming in. So dander, debris, we got mites, we got other microscopic stuff going on. We got all this cellular debris going on in here inside this pore. What I want to do is if we just start washing the dog, the water cannot actually get inside the pore because it's just so full, kind of like blackheads and stuff on our skin. I mean, the pores are so full. So the water and the shampoo only cleaning inside these pores and cleaning the skin, the hair for a little bit, because a few days later the hair smells again. The dog seems to smell again. So what do? By brushing and combing the hairs out, we're creating some room inside these pores. Maybe not all of it, but we're creating some room. So then the water can actually go in there and clean. And so that's what's going on. So now let's say okay, and then we have a little bit of here, the oil down here. So what happens is whenever we wash a dog, the surface, the signal gets sent down skin. Help, we're being attacked at the surface. That's what we're doing. On a cellular level, we're scrubbing and we're attacking the surface of the skin. These glands will start to overproduce oils. Start to produce at a more rapid pace, right? So now we got oils coming out, right? Skin cells start to reproduce at a more rapid pace. So now you got flakes on the top. So that's why after we wash our dogs, about 2 to 3 weeks later, you'll notice they look a little bit like they had dandruff. They got like little flakes. And all you got to do is just brush that out. They don't need another bath. Just brush it out because it's just in response to the bath. But if we keep this, and this goes into overdrive for about 2 to 3 weeks, washing them every 2 to 3 weeks, then their oils are always overworking. They're always overproducing. The skin is always in this recovery mode. Not only that, if we're not doing doing a good job actually clearing out these pores. This pore that's already full stuff. So not only is it full and the water can't go in here and actually clean it out, but now it has more being made behind it, clogging it even more. So now up. So now you see like a little bump on the surface of the skin, and it's actually this full clogged pore. This is just one pore. They have millions of pores. they have. This is just one. There's one next to it and next to it and next to it and next to it. There's millions, and that's what's going on. Things can get so out of hand in such a hurry. One of their pores. This is what's going on inside of their skin. So when we understand this, that's when it starts to make maybe that's why when when I'm washing my dog once a week, it doesn't seem like even that's enough. You're washing your dog once a week. Oils that carry a scent with them too. Oil smells. I mean, oil has the odor to it. So your dog not only looks more greasy, feels kind of gritty and nasty, but it has some smells. It'll get to the point where it seems like you can't wash them enough. A few days later, they're going to smell even worse. So, and is to maybe stop washing so much. There's dry shampoo sprays that we can use. There's coat conditioners. Ultramax makes a great spray. Let's see. But there's just Crown Royal makes great spray products, grooming spray products. But there's so many different sprays that we can use. Spray the coat, mist the coat down, and brush. And that's going to do so much more to keep your dog from smelling, to keep your dog from matting. They won't have red skin or hot spots or areas where they're chewing and licking. All of this can be solved just by really going in and thoroughly clearing out those pores by brushing. So, like, I'm brushing out, a ton of hair, to get all the dead hair out. It is to get all the dead hair out, but really it's because I'm trying to clear the pores. I'm trying to get it out of the skin so the skin clear. Your skin, the shampoo and conditioner can get inside those pores and do a deep cleaning and actually give it. If you're going to use a good shampoo and a good conditioner, don't rinse it off as soon as you get it lathered on the dog. Because to sit on the skin. In that time, that's when I do the massage. I do a gentle massage, the head, the ears, the shoulders. And I don't do a massage just to be nice. I do it to pass the time because 5 to 10 minutes is actually a pretty long time. But it goes by like that when you massage the dog. Once I get through from the head to the tail, their dog, it's about time to rinse them. So then I rinse and then do the same thing with conditioner. Although I've been cheating. Active-based conditioner, the one that I'm using right now. It's also, you can use it as a leave-in conditioner. You just dilute it down more. So I've been diluting it down into a spray bottle. And after I've done, let the shampoo soak, and then I rinse it off completely. So wet, the ears, the armpits, the belly, all the skin areas first. And they call them the sebaceous zones. And they call it the sebaceous zones because, man, that gland on the side of the dog, the dog's pore that's producing the oils. So they call it sebaceous zones because these are the areas where the dog's skin is producing the most oils. Only it also has the least amount of hair, like the tummies, the armpits, hair, the inside of the ears. And there are, I mean, hair starts to accumulate, but we got to pull those out. It pulls out so easily inside the ears, the armpits where it starts to mat up. It mats up so easily because those hairs need to be pulled out regularly. So anyways, I've been using the spray leave-in conditioner. Let it soak for a little bit, and then I force dry the dog using a high, it was called force drying. I really wish there's a better term for it, but it's using a high velocity air dryer, dry quickly. Also, the high velocity air helps to kind of clear out some more dander out of the skin as it kind of blows everything out. And also, I like it because I get to see every square inch of the dog as I'm moving along the dog. The high velocity air is blowing the hair away, so I see every square inch of the dog's skin. I'm fascinated by it. I study every single dog I do. So, let's see here. Oh, um, question that. Um, let's see, where did I leave off here? Okay. Saul Marquez. It's good to use soap dishwasher down for greasy hair, like Cocker Spaniel ear. No. So I actually wrote a newsletter before called A Dawn of a New Era, and I think I put a blog about it as well. Dawn dish detergent. I used to use Dawn dish detergent for the ears, greasy ears, because they say it's a good degreaser. That's what we were taught. So I used to use it on almost every dog, and their butt, those kind of areas, and their feet. Here's why we don't use Dawn dish detergent. After I was like floored by the presentation that Pamela Ritson and her team at the International Society of the Canine Cosmetologists, it's called ISCC, went to their seminar at the Atlanta Pet Fair. I was just, oh my god, the information. I was just like, whoa, 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 because the hundreds of dogs that I had groomed by learning this new information that I didn't know before. Oh my god, I did so much damage to these dogs without knowing. I felt completely like guilty. I felt angry. All these emotions I went through. Asking her about the Dawn dish detergent, and here's what she said: detergent, when they're using it on those ducks in those commercials, those ducks are covered in gasoline. It's toxic. It's poisonous to their body, and their skin is so thin it absorbs it right into their bloodstream. So these baby ducks, any duck really, you need to get this gasoline and this grease off of these ducks quickly and safely. So they use Dawn dish detergent because it is safe, it doesn't kill them, and it gets the grease off. So, and that's the thing, it's a life and death situation, which is why they use it. But dogs coming into our shop, it's not a life and death situation. They're not covered in grease or tar or gasoline or anything like that. And by using the Dawn dish detergent on a regular basis, we're actually causing the ears to get even worse and worse because we're drying it out, especially ears. Ears, again, it's a sebaceous zone, meaning it needs oil. So they always say like, oh, get it clean and dry, clean and dry. It doesn't need to be clean and dry. It needs to be clean and oiled. So rather than using Dawn dish detergent, we really should be using conditioners and like emu oil, like an animal oil, or argan oil, or avocado oil. Oils, a light layer of oil will be the best thing for greasy cocker ears, because the best way to fight off unwanted oils are oil, another oil. So oil is the best way to fight oil. Um, and thank you, Michelle Knowles, because I learned all this from Michelle. Let's see here. Alan Powell. I like my Geeb lefties more than my MGT righties. Nice. Okay. So, oh, it's a Geib Shears, not Geeb. Um, Amiga 360. Thanks, June. That was very. Thank you so much, Amiga. Seriously, thank you for joining. I really appreciate that. Alan Powell, shout out to Bob Ross. Yes. Show Bob, right? Show Bob, happy pores. Nice. My throat's getting a little dry. So Alan Powell, yes. Alan Powell, vibrant follicles. Daniel Brown. Hi, Daniel Brown. How are you? How are you today? I'm good. I'm tired. I'm tired. Oh my goodness. It was awesome though. I mean, I was like seeing the dog that's just in a horrible condition, miserable, suffering, and seeing how they prance around afterwards, they feel so good. Oh my goodness, that to me is really rewarding. See, Amiga 3C, you are off air. I'm off air. Hopefully, I'm not off air. CYR 1983. Hello, hi CYR 1983. Yes. Okay, Alan Powell. Blowing out the coat helps stimulate blood flow as well. I used to say force dry, but people kept asking me if I knew Yoda. Yeah, well, I talk about Jedi grooming. Shoot, I should stick with the force drying term, right? CYR 1983. I use a hair dryer on my baby when I need to dry him. Human blow dryer with heat, just make sure you keep it moving. Don't keep it in one spot and dry until it's dry. It's gonna get too hot. So even though it looks like it's still wet, you can dry it more. I say when you're using heat, keep it moving, and then you can always go back to that spot. But to try to continue to dry one area until it's completely dry with the heated blow dryer, it's gonna burn the dog's skin. So again, dogs have very fragile skin, very sensitive, like fragile skin. So you want to be gentle no matter what you're doing. When you're brushing, when you're washing, when you're plucking, drying, anything that you're doing, you want to be gentle. Daniel Brown, New Zealand. Hey, what's up, Daniel Brown from New Zealand? Dogs love good. All right, but thank you guys so much again. Hopefully the feed was okay this time. Hopefully there wasn't too much lagging or anything. And we'll continue this. I'll continue to like kind of draw out the because there's a lot more information I wanted to get to. I just wasn't able to today. But yeah, let's continue this. Any questions on any of the information I covered today, let me know. I'll be happy to elaborate more. And maybe what I'll do next week is I'll have like drawings already drawn out on paper, and I'll just kind of put it up on the screen. Honestly, I'm scared to do screen shares because it seems like screen share kind of takes up a lot of that's what kind of causes the lag in the feed. So we'll see. The main thing is as long as people get this information right, it's making sense to you guys and it's helpful. But yeah, it's almost 10 o'clock. So much for joining me. It's late. I know a lot of people are probably like nodding off. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all the support. I just want to keep learning about the dog skin. I'll keep sharing what I'm learning because I'm always researching and learning more about myself. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys next week. Good night.